Welcome back everyone to week 5 of my art journey. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button to follow along with the madness. This week at the Art Academy, we took a deep dive into the absolute holy grail of realism, light and shadow. Now, I used to think adding a shadow just meant aggressively scribbling with a dark pencil until it looked moody. Turns out it's a science. We'll start with simple 3D primitives, the sphere, the cube, and the cylinder. I'm going to show you guys exactly how light behaves on these basic shapes, break down the two fundamental laws of light, and then we're going to level up. I'll be applying these rules to the coffee mug and the stapler I drew last week. First, let's look at the tools for today's battle. For the canvas, we're using standard newsprint paper. For laying down the darkness, I have quite a lineup. A Cretacolor charcoal pencil, a rayon Langnickel graphite pencil, and for precision line work, my trusty Unicru Toga mechanical pencil, which spins the lead so it stays sharp, even if my brain isn't. And for erasing, because let's face it, I do a lot of that here, I've got a normal Cretacolor eraser for the general cleanup, and the heavy artillery, the Derwent electric eraser, which spins fast enough to erase your past mistakes, though unfortunately it only works on paper. Alright, so let's look at the anatomy of light. I'm rendering a sphere here, and as soon as light hits it, the surface gets split into specific zones. First, the halftone. This is the true local color of the object receiving mid-tone light. It bridges the bright side to the dark side. Then we have the core shadow. This is the darkest area on the object itself. It happens where the form turns completely away from the light source. It's the boundary line where light officially surrenders. Now we have the bounce light. Shadows aren't just pure black void. Light hits the table surface and bounces back up into the shadow side of the sphere. It's a subtle glow that keeps your drawing from looking completely flat. And finally we have the Occlusion Shadow, or Contact Shadow. This is the ultimate dark zone. It's the tight, pinched space right where the sphere touches the ground. It's so deep and tight that light physically can't squeeze its way in there. While I wrap up the shading on this cube and cylinder, let's talk about the two laws of light. If you memorize these, your rendering will instantly make sense. Law number 1. Different plane equals different value. If a surface turns away from the light, even slightly, its value must change. Here I drew a cylinder which resembles an hexagon so you can see the difference better, and then I'll apply the same logic to a normal cylinder. Each face or plane must be a different shade because it is either further away from the light or closer to the light. If you make two different angles the same shade, you've just broken the law and the art police will find you. That's a fact. Law number 2. Everything that receives light is also a source of light. This explains our bounce light. When light strikes a table, that table becomes a mini flashlight, reflecting light back onto the bottom of the object. Light is basically an eternal game of ping pong, man. Now for the main event, remember my coffee mug and stapler from last week? I worked hard on those lines, and I'm not ready to ruin them if my shading goes sideways. So I'm overlapping some tracing paper right on top. This lets me experiment with values completely risk-free. Let's tackle the mug first. Essentially a mug is just a cylinder with a curved tube attached. Because the light source is coming from the top right, I'm building a soft halftone on the curve, transitioning into a distinct core shadow running vertically down the left side. Notice how I leave a bit of bounce light on the edge to separate the mug from the background.
If I'm going with you, I know we'll get to the other side. Sinking in, I know this feels right. Catching a breeze left through me.
Now for the stapler. This looks intimidating because it's a piece of office machinery, but it's mostly long boxy rectangular planes. Following law number 1, I find the planes facing away from the light and block them in with a dark value using my graphite pencil. And there you have it. By understanding simple shapes, shadows, and using tracing paper to practice, rendering complex everyday objects becomes a lot less scary. Which one do you think turned out better, the mug or the stapler? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for joining me on week 5 of my art journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will see you next week when we conquer the next artistic obstacle. And remember, keep practicing every day.
For a bust at the end of the night.